to show, keep it all inside. The pain and the shame, keep it out of sight. Your obsession feels like an addiction. You soon gonna give me all your attention. You don't want the only one.
You definitely don't want me to start freestyling. Yeah, we're not going to hit that note. Hello to everybody. Hi to all of you here at Netflix, AKA the headquarters of K-pop Demon Hunters. And hello to everybody watching in our virtual audience. My name is Gray Drake. I work with CBR.com. I'm trying to keep the volume of my voice reasonable because inside I am screaming. Very excited to be here. And as you all know, hopefully you haven't been living in a cave somewhere. The Han Moon is strong with you because you know that K-pop Demon Hunters has been out for over 3 months, and yet it just keeps dominating. We've got the soundtrack reaching #1 on the Billboard 200 album chart. Right, lots of woos here at Netflix. And Golden continues to top the Billboard Hot 100 chart for its 7th week. More woos here at Netflix. We are so excited to have you sit here, whether it be in virtual land or here at Netflix, AKA the K-pop Demon Hunters headquarters, to welcome and enjoy our guests today. So please strengthen the Han Moon as I recognize everybody coming up on stage. Are you ready? Yes. Oh, you can do better than that. There we go. Director Chris Appelhans. We've also, and you can clap here, by the way. Let's definitely do that. Director Maggie Kang. We also have Huntrix. EJ is the singing voice of Rumi and the songwriter of Golden, How It's Done, Your Idol, and Hunter's Mantra. Audrey Nuna, keep it going, the singing voice of Mira, and Ray Ami, the singing voice of Zoe. So as I mentioned, crying, screaming, throwing up. That's what I'm doing over here. But 3 months the movie has been out, and for those of us that cover entertainment regularly, this is quite an anomaly because we're here so excited to cover a movie that has truly become a juggernaut all over the world, and it's like exciting and rare on our end, so I could only imagine how y'all are feeling. So let's start with our writers, directors. Talk about the moment where you went, oh my God, this is Netflix's most watched film.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of wild.
Still overwhelmed, I can tell.
Is,
Look.
Yeah, it was fun to watch the trajectory. It's kind of one of the great things about the platform is that word of mouth and the quality of your film can do so much to build an audience. So watching that first week to the second to the third and just started to do this was really wild. And the B side of that was watching just the passion and the specificity of all the fan stuff online, and they were the best promotion for the film we could have ever asked for. So just really grateful, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, just every day we have a text chain with the producers and Spring Aspers is the president of music, Sony Music, and we're just constantly being sent all these records that the movie's breaking or the songs are breaking, and every day we were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then we've kind of lost track of it. We were like, okay, yeah. And I think Chris described it the best for me. It's we raised this child, and you release the child into the world, and you're kind of at first you're like, okay, I hope people like you. I hope you're gonna be okay. I hope you're not gonna scare anybody. And now we're just go live your life. Be wonderful.
Free child.
You were just watching from afar and just really proud of it. Yeah.
Right, and it's oh honey, everybody gets you.
Yeah. It's the relief, but then also it's now we're okay, we've done our job, and now it's good to see you out there and killing it.
It's also kind of hard to believe that with this on auto repeat in our cars, with our families, by ourselves, like me, I'm middle-aged white lady, and I'm yes, everything's golden. And so now you are doing your first live performance. It's hard to believe that this is the first live performance, and that's happening next week on Fallon. Can y'all talk about just that? Like the moment you got the news, what's the prep been like? Oh my God.
We keep trying to come up with new adjectives.
I know.
Let's
what-
try
what-
again.
Yeah, what was it? I like the
You said
wonderful.
scrumptious.
I like that wonderful, wonderful cocktail.
Wonderful
of
cocktail of
wonderfuls.
wonderfulness.
Yeah.
Key lime pie.
Yay. Chocolate chip.
삼겹살. Because we all love
Samgyeopsal.
삼겹살.
Hi.
But now it's like 오겹살.
I think we're all so honored and so excited.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about rehearsals?
Oh my god,
ladies?
rehearsals were incredible. Oh my god, we had so much fun, and like we've never sang together. And I'm just learning from these ladies because they're incredible artists themselves and performers, and just the synergy with all of us. Like, I can't. Golden's a hard song. I'm sorry, EJ. I'm
Thanks,
sorry to
Natalie,
myself too.
It was
Like-
when we were writing Golden, which was very very hard to write. We wrote many different drafts that were very different from what we have now, and I constantly asked EJ, like, EJ, can you sing higher? And she's like, okay, and then be like, no, can we go higher? And yeah,
hit high
yeah,
notes.
and she did it. Yeah.
I did it, y'all. Yeah. Took lots of energy.
Yeah, we're blessed to have seen this woman in real life
Aw, thank you.
singing
Yeah.
this song for probably like the first time in the world, maybe
Yeah, I mean,
in rehearsal.
yeah, it was-
And just to be in the presence of this, like, honestly, generational talent is for us just like she learns from us, she was saying, but we also learn so much from just everything that you do. And
I mean, like, it's such a hard song, but I can sing it with these girls by my side. I'm not kidding. Like,
we sound good
Oh my
together. I'm
goodness.
not gonna lie.
yeah, we sound so fantastic.
We sound great.
But no pressure and no don't expect so much. But like, you should at the same time because we work really hard.
Next Tuesday, Huntrix's first ever live performance, Golden. Stay tuned. See you there.
Whoa. Whoa.
Oh,
Well, real quick, like, what's the rehearsal like? Like, how much time do you get? Do they give you an hour?
They
two?
have us there early in the morning.
Or okay, all right.
We are there.
We're
We are
like
working.
constantly singing.
Constantly.
I think we've done like 3 8-hour-ish rehearsals
Yeah,
at this
seriously.
point.
Ooh.
Right?
Like with like
Yeah,
6
yeah.
hours of straight vocal.
Ooh.
Because it is a vocal forward
Yeah.
song.
I
It's like
actually-
theater camp.
Yeah, and like I sing better even at the studio. Like I sing better the more I sing. Weirdly, like when I'm
it's
3
pretty
hours
crazy.
in, I get higher and
Ah.
higher, and I can sing better. Yeah, it's weird. So like I can keep going, but like it was really fun with these girls because like we're just trying to figure out moves and like when do we sound the best? And there was
Blending.
one of them, one take. Where we're
Audrey was like, she put the mic down. She was like, guys, that felt real. And we looked at
I
each
just
other and we're like,
comment too much, but when she comments, it means she freaking means it.
she
So,
means
like,
you better listen
very
when she
mirror.
talks.
yeah.
true.
So
And
Mira.
she was like, guys, this is like really happening. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I had like an emotional existential crisis during rehearsal because I'm emotionally constipated, so I process things very
I witnessed
slowly,
Yes.
like probably like 4 to 6 business weeks
Yes,
delayed.
literally.
And
It
there was
the
a moment
second
I
day.
was like breaking down in front of you guys. I was like, oh my god, what's going on? Is this real?
No, and then you actually started showing emotion
Yeah.
after 2 days in a rehearsal.
But it was when we locked in because I think we were working on the song and it's one song, so we're doing the song over and over and over again for the first time. And I think the moment that we really felt it was when the three of us connected, I think, and just felt like one unit.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was like a really big breakthrough.
Start
feeding off each
rambling,
other.
Gray.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm so fascinated by everything you're saying because that shines through so much in the movie that it just remains hard for me to believe that when you were recording it was separately.
Yeah, by the way, I'm stealing all that dialogue.
I know. I'm like, I'm just
future
watching
scenes.
this, and,
But
Pretty
and
much,
just picturing
pretty
it,
much
it's
the
just
same.
animated. Like,
this will be
Like-
recorded and available for further
Right.
use.
I've
And
tried.
that actually leads to some of the great questions that we got from our audience. One of them is Mark covering Seattle. He says, when you think back on the entire process of making K-pop Demon Hunters, what's the first thing that comes to mind that gives you a feeling of gratitude? Because I'm already feeling it radiating from all of y'all. Is there something that comes to top of mind, EJ, about like, what's the number one thing that brings you the most gratitude about this crazy ride?
Let me think. Oh, that's a big question.
It is, right? This is a big movie, girl.
The number one pride I feel with the whole movie. Oh, it's just like, for me, it's just really. I said this the other day. It's gonna make me cry again. I got a lot of DMs from fans, and like they telling me that the movie saved them. Like one fan, her parent passed away, and then the next day, she, her man was like, "You should watch K-pop Demon Hunters. It's really big." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And then he just turned it on, and she just it grabbed her attention because the airplane scene's pretty fire. And then she starts looking at it, and then she watched the whole thing, and she just started crying, and she's like, "Again," and then again, and she told me, she's like, she didn't tell me actually. Her man told me, and she was like, it really saved her. I didn't see her smile in so long, and she got to smile. That's a big, the music helped her. She's been singing the songs every day, and
It's so singable, and it's like I think it weaves its way into the fabric of everybody's life as like one of those really rare lightning in a bottle occurrences. And Carol covering Brazil also asks, your vocal performances bring to life a character, who are both idols and demon hunters, which is like a weird, wild, lovely animated balance. How did you balance the power of a musical performance with the emotional vulnerability of the character? Because even Healer Han mentions, like, I can't see through all your walls, but I mean, that's what the whole movie is like once you break through that wall, that's when you stir up this kind of fervor. And so, Ray, is there something that comes to mind for you about like that's your music even outside of this movie? It's so vulnerable, but how did you break through whatever wall you had up to reach us?
Well, I think the songs like How It's Done, Takedown, that's very much my lane. The aggression, the high energy, that's just something I ooze in my sleep. So like, that was so fun. I was encouraged to even be more animated and crazier with our executive music director, Ian. What a joy to work with. But when it came to songs like What It Sounds Like, where Zoe is required to completely strip all that people-pleasing tendencies and look inward and be like, why do you care about the opinions of others? Why do you never put yourself first? Why are you choosing between the parts of yourself that make you whole? Focus on the whole, right? And so that just requires me to be brutally honest and not put up this strong facade that I put up a lot. And that was really hard, and that was like an emotional journey I had to really like process. I even stepped out, I think, at one point, and like I started crying because I couldn't get it right. I couldn't evoke that honesty right, and I was so frustrated with myself. And obviously, thank God for Ian. Like, he saves me every time. But I think just like how EJ said, how EJ said, music, like this movie saved them. Like, music saved me. So. What It Sounds Like is a very personal one. I'm grateful. Yeah, I'm gonna stop.
And that answers the question. I mean, it is breaking through that reaches everybody. And we have some folks in person here who've submitted questions as well. I want to make sure they're here first. Virag, covering Hungary, come on up. Let's get her a microphone.
Hi, guys. Congratulations on the film. And well, my question is to AJ, because I seen an interview before when you said that the idea of the Golden came to you in a chair. Actually, it was in a dentist chair. Am I right about it?
It's not in the dentist chair. It was on the way to the dentist. It was in the car.
Almost.
Yeah, almost there.
Almost there. Well, it's not a
Oh, I didn't tell you. It was wait. So it was on the way to dentist, and guess what I got at dentist? Gold fillings. Isn't that insane?
Oh my God,
it's like
baller.
all meant to be. Sorry, yeah, exactly. It is true. Not marketing.
Yeah, it's not.
But
easy when we go to the
it was
dentist,
in the car because I got the track. Sorry, well, that was
Okay, and the question
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
so in that moment,
Yes.
you have any sense that it might turn into such a huge hit? And what do you think is the secret behind a song like this connecting too strongly and widely?
So, sorry, what was the question? Sorry.
Okay, so it's about that in that moment, you have any sense that it might turn into such a huge hit?
Oh, okay. Definitely did not. But I
Did you know that was gonna be the song? Because we
I
went through so
did.
many.
Okay,
right?
I
versions.
did in the fact that like when I got the melody in, I was like, oh, this is a good melody, and that happens sometimes when the melody comes really fast. And so I was so excited to get my gold filling done and go home and like put it down and have my co-writer come on Zoom, and that's how we would write. And I was like, oh my God, Mark, I have this melody. I think it's pretty epic. And he's like, okay. So I sang the melody, and I did not know it'd be so high. But yeah. But I was like, wait, that's exactly what you wanted. So I was like, wait, this is awesome. It was all meant to be. And then the melody idea, that came out really fast. But obviously there was fine tuning. That was back and forth. But the main hook idea we got, and we were done with that. And we're like, wait, literally Mark and I in Zoom were like, did we just write a hit? Like, it sounded so good.
Was that the pre-chorus too? The
It was
whole
it was all the pre and the chorus, and we also did the verses too. It was just none of the after.
All at once.
Yeah, all at once.
Wow.
Verse, pre to hook, and the post. And then that's the day we went. You were in Korea, remember? And we were doing recordings in Korea, and I came to you guys. I was like, guys. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's
I was
right.
like, guys, I think you're gonna like this song. And you're like, okay, I'm excited. I sent it to Ian, and Ian he sent me a text, and I have a screenshot. He was like, this is massive. He was like, this is a smash, EJ. And then they sent it to you guys. Yeah, and it was.
I
just like-
listened to it. I think I was in Vancouver, and I was like, I know exactly where I was. I was like going to the airport. I was in a car, and I was texted it by Ian, and
Yeah, I didn't-
and we were on a phone call, and he's like, Maggie, I just need you to listen to it right now. And I was like, okay. So I took my AirPods out, and I'm listening to it, and I'm just like, as I just heard the few notes in the beginning, and then I just had tears because I knew, yeah, I knew exactly, I knew it was it.
Yeah,
I was like,
I
this
knew
is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it too. So yeah,
It's just so magical, like right from the beginning. And I was like, oh my gosh, we finally got it. And then I started crying, and then I cried more because I was like, it's getting better and better as I listen to it.
when I hit the high note, it's like, But I'm
Do you ever watch all the videos like on YouTube and stuff of people watching y'all
Yeah,
sing?
well,
Oh, yeah.
I don't watch all of them. My dad and my mom, and my fiance sends me a bunch of videos of that, and it's interesting to watch because I'm just they're like, oh, like she's doing this technical skill and like mix her voice up here, and I respect that too, but I don't think I was like, I'm trying to think. I'm like, no, I don't, because with a and a bit, like I know what a mixed voice sounds like in my voice, and I was definitely not doing a mixed voice. It was a chest mixed into the mix. But yeah. Anyway, that was like an interesting experience to watch. Yeah.
Audrey, while we're talking about the songs, Leo, who's covering Denver, asked, which Huntrix song holds the most meaning for you?
It's such a tough question because I think they're all so integral to the story.
Sure.
Obviously, Golden.
But you have to be mean and pick one, though.
Yeah, honestly, Golden's a classic for sure. I think for me, the first song that I heard when I was pitched to be a part of the project was How It's Done. And I think there was just something about that song that reminded me of kind of when I was also falling in love with K-pop as like a 10-year-old, like the summers my cousins would come over, and I was so sheltered growing up musically, but they would bring all this like crazy K-pop. They introduced us to YG Entertainment and 21 and Big Bang. I fainted at a Big Bang concert when I was 12, so like this stuff really was so formative to who I wanted to become as an artist. So something about How It's Done had this like very just 2010s bold, empowering female energy that to me really was such a huge, just very attractive thing about the project. I felt like it really spoke to just where we are in terms of like representing women and just multifaceted. And yeah, I think that one in particular really got me excited to be a part of the project.
That song helps me feel more confident merging into traffic on the highway.
Oh, that sounds dangerous, but I like that.
I take it easy, but then I'm like, that is how it's done.
Yeah, exactly.
Sylvia's here today, and she has a question for Maggie and Chris.
So my question for the directors is, how did you balance, actually, did you have a conversation about balancing being authentic in representing K-pop, because it's a very specific Korean phenomenon, with also appealing to a universal and worldwide audience?
We talked about it a lot, and we wanted to represent the fandom correctly. And what's so special about K-pop is the relationship between the idols and the fans. That's like so different from anything else. And so to honor that, we folded that into the mythology. Like that's the thing that there's a connection, and that connection is this magical force that fuels this hormone that protects the world. So we were like, great, we did that part, and then the other stuff, it's hard, and we did feel a lot of pressure to like not screw it up, but I think. As directors, you're scared about a lot of stuff and representing things and what people would think, and all you can do is kind of approach it on a personal level. And we're both really big fans of K-pop, and I've watched K-pop become K-pop from generation one, and so I was like, nobody can tell me that I'm not a K-pop fan, because I was there before all of you. It's kind of how I felt about it. So I just approached it as a personal thing, like a personal journey and a personal relationship to the music. And I think everybody, even though people don't know about the specificity of K-pop culture and the fandom, everyone knows what being a fan is. And I think that's the gateway into kind of explaining the other stuff. And so we didn't. And that was like that for most of the movies. Like we didn't want to sit there and explain things to people. Just throw people in and have them enjoy it and learn about stuff as you are enjoying the movie and through the characters. So that was our approach. Yeah.
Yoon covering South Korea actually has another good question for you both as well. How were the group names Huntrix and Saja Boys created? Because it seems Saja Boys has two meanings in Korean.
Yes, it does.
Genius name.
So yeah, the Saja Boys. The idea of the Saja Boys came very early. It was as probably within the first month of kind of coming up with the concept. Always wanted the Choseung Saja, which is the Grim Reaper of Korean demonology, and they are like the black cat demons that we see at the end that the Saja Boys turn into. And Saja has a dual meaning. It means messenger, right? Is that what
lion.
it is? Yeah, but Saja lion, but then also messenger, right?
Yeah, it was messenger.
Yeah, messenger. But it's Choseung Saja, which is the Grim Reaper. So it has ties to that, the kind of the demons, but it's also lion. And so because these guys are two-faced, it just felt like a fun way to just lean into the wordplay of that, and I was like, well, also nobody's gonna name any group Saja Boys because of that. So that was
that's a pretty awesome.
It is,
name.
right?
I think it would have been a real name. When I saw
we
that,
claimed
I was
it.
like, great job. It was a great name. I saw that. I was like, dude,
pretty good. Yeah.
Nice.
And a lot of people notice it. And then Huntrix, it was very hard.
Long journey.
Yeah, long journey.
Was there a name you can share that got abandoned? Oh, that's a yes. You got to tell us now.
They're a little. No, we don't want to share.
Okay.
I think some of them are a little they're not great. Yeah.
Got it. Well,
One.
that's why they were left behind. All right. Hector, are you here? Perfect. Okay, you have a question for Chris.
Hi, I'm Hector. Hector from Heroes Reforged here in LA. My question is for the filmmakers, both of the filmmakers. What was the most challenging aspect of the animation process, and how did you guys solve it?
Does something come to mind for you, Chris?
Yes.
Do you have some PTSD you want to share with us?
I think that what Maggie and I really wanted to do, and this was some of our bonding, I think, as filmmakers came from both being huge fans of like Bong Joon-ho, and he has this crazy range of tone. Like you're watching The Host and you're like, oh, it's a family comedy. Oh God, it's a horror movie. Wait, now it's romantic. Now it's this. So we had all these ingredients and all these aspirations to have these girls that were like awesome, legitimately glamorous and magnetic in a way that's like can compete with in real life K-pop. And then we wanted them to be like chugging kimbops and like being so goofy and wearing their pajama pants and then off to a K-drama date. So there was this range and the animation and music videos, choreography, fighting, probably 7 or 8 like really critical ingredients. And the animation had to unify all that. So those girls had to make funny faces and then turn to the camera and look beautiful, and the audience had to go with it. And that's a technical challenge, it's a design challenge, it's a reference for the animators challenge. And we just had an amazing team at Sony that was able to kind of span all that stuff and hold it together.
It's also really relatable. It's like you're like, have you ever like been in the middle of screaming at someone and then the phone rings and you're like, hello, right?
Yeah.
It's that vibe.
I love contrast. That's what our head of character animation, Josh Beveridge, always said to me. He's like, Maggie, you like contrast. I'm like, yes, I do. Yes.
Right, that in your stories. Hey, Ray, here's a question for you. Rachel, who's covering in New York, asks, what's been your favorite bit of fan media that you've seen come out of K-pop? I love that smile immediately.
I know the answer that they're looking for, and I'm not going to say it. I've already acknowledged it on TikTok. But my second most favorite are probably like the little fan edits of us. I threw just a silly little picture of us on Twitter from the VMAs.
Elevator one?
And the amount, I can't count, it's in the hundreds now. Like, there's videos of us interacting, like cartoons. And guys, these take hours to make. People are hundreds, thousands of people are dedicating hours, precious hours in their day to create art of us. And I think that truly goes to show how incredible this film is, because I think true art inspires other people to act and move, and they are acting and they are moving quickly, rapidly, like wildfire. So thank you, Hunters. Love you.
Douglas, covering North Carolina, asks, how do you feel about the fact that audiences aren't just finding something that resonates within them via the narrative, songs, and animation style, but that it's also creating an opportunity to advance understanding of Korean culture? Audrey.
She answers this great.
Uh-huh. I felt it coming from all the way over here. I was like, it's Audrey.
Yeah, it means a lot. We talk about this all the time, but I think this is a film that, the 7-year-old versions of ourselves so desperately wanted and needed without even knowing that we wanted and needed it. So, I think there's so many incredible layers to this film, and the reason why it's not just resonating with kids, it's resonating with, there was literally grandmas and grandpas pulling up Solo to the CD signing, So I think there is a reason that this film quite literally speaks to everyone. I think for sure representation, like just the characters are just so complex and so human. The story is so human, and to be able to see such a human story in the lens of your own culture too is just another level of just gratitude, gratitude for Maggie, for Chris, for the creators of this film who, and honestly, what's beautiful about it is it comes from such a real place. It comes from, Maggie being Korean Canadian and really having walked this line of culture and having to blend those things. And you, as a viewer, you feel and you can relate to that. And I think that, yes, it's in the language of Korean culture, but I think ultimately that is just such a human thing. Like, we've all felt that feeling of, which parts of myself am I proud of? Which parts of myself am I not proud of? And I think just that very human story is what is connecting everyone in this film. And I, as someone who hid my stinky kimbap, in second grade, and I remember taking a Barbie lunchbox, but inside was stinky kimbap. So and then that's why I cried too when I saw animated kimbap in this film, within the first 10 minutes of this film, because I was like, wow, that's something I used to as a kid. Remember feeling like Nick Smith and whoever else thought was so gross, and now it's this beautiful, animated, juicy looking kimbap on this, at this point, world-renowned and just honestly classic, iconic film. So
Do not let me catch Nick Smith on the street.
I protected the real person's identity with Nick Smith.
fine.
That's a pseudo.
But let's be clear, Nick Smith, you know who you are.
You know who you are. You probably like kimbap now. You probably go to KBBQ
I
every
bet
weekend.
you do.
I watch K-pop duos 50 times.
Is Nick our soda pop? TBD. EJ, Michael Covering from Fullerton wants to know, since K-pop is such a visual and a sonic experience, how did stepping into animation change your approach to writing the lyrics and infusing storytelling in elements into it?
I think it's definitely a different approach because you have to follow the story a lot and you have to understand the characters and what they're going through each scene. And honestly, thankfully, the directors and also Ian Eisendrath, they gave us a great guideline of what we should be writing about, and that helped a lot. And also with my co-writer Mark, I come from a K-pop world, so I'm all about what's a great melody, what's a catchy hook, what's a good concept. That's always what I'm thinking about. Even with Golden, I need a title that's it just sticks, Golden sticks, So that's what I'm focusing on, and Mark is focusing on the storyline. So it was a lot of us going back and forth, policing each other. And I love musicals, by the way, but in pop form, it can get a little different. Sound is a little not, there. So I would be like, Mark, let's not use that word. It's too wordy.
Do you mean not grounded, or it's
because sometimes musicals because you're saying a lot of things, it could get wordy sometimes.
Oh, right.
So you say and sometimes you emphasize a word differently, comfortable,
Sure.
those things. And as a pop writer, we try to avoid that. We like to think things rhyming really well and it sonically sounding well. So he would if I say oh, that sounds weird, and then Mark would tell me, that's off the storyline. I know that's a really cool line, EJ, but let's get back to the story. So that was a lot of back and forth. It was really, really challenging. And I remember Mark and I were like, dang, this is so hard. And we're like, but if we pull this off, we're freaking geniuses. And we pulled it off.
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah, so that was kind of the process.
And then all of a sudden you got golden fillings in your mouth and you were like,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Maria, are you here today? Go ahead and give Maria the microphone. This is a question for Maggie.
Yes, Maggie, hi. I would like to ask you, being the engine of this movie, what are the key elements from a women perspective that you want to tell about women and to receive for the new generation and the old generation? Because it seems that people who are adults behave like 6 years old with your song.
I think for me, the most important thing is I wanted to see really silly women. I think we're so afraid, especially in animation, to show female characters be really silly and be the silliest one in the room. And I've personally experienced that working on films where, you know, we have a troupe of, I don't know, 5, 6 main characters, and one happens to be, you know, the one girl character, and we always struggle. We have these like hours-long meetings about how do we make this one female character unique, and there was a time when I suggested, well, why don't we take the funniest character and give it to the girl and make her the funniest, and it'd be like, let's not do that. And I was really frustrated by that. And so when it came to time to make this movie, I was like, well, let's make all of them silly. And I just wanted to see just this kind of women. And I think, I really think there's empowerment and like strength in comedy. It takes a ton of courage to be funny, to pitch jokes, to be silly in front of somebody. And if you find a group of people that embrace you in your weirdest side, and they are just as weird with you, that is like the best type of friendship. And I really wanted to showcase that type of female relationship, because that's what I have with my friends. And you obviously can see that the 3 of them have it. And
Very silly.
and there's like truth and honesty in that as well. And so it's always something I wanted to see. And so that, I hope that young girls, especially that are watching this, can learn that there's strength in that, and that is true girl power. So I hope to see a lot of weird, silly girls.
Yes.
Yeah, just growing up and you know, sharing that weirdness with each other and with the rest of the world.
So we are nearly at the end, which makes my heart very sad. But there's a couple more questions that I want to ask before we all go. Thank you so much for all these wonderful questions, both from you in the room and out there watching our live stream. This question I can't attribute to a person, but I think it's brilliant. Very quickly, what Netflix show do you think Huntrix is binging on Netflix? That's so funny. Right? Yeah.
Love is Blind.
Say again?
Love is Blind.
Brilliant. What season, what country? I'm just kidding.
Wait, I can't. If you get me started, I will not stop.
Okay, sidebar
also,
afterwards.
The Queer Love edition, the Queer Love is Blind.
Yes.
Which is there? No, Ultimatum. Ultimatum.
Oh, girl. Okay, don't get me started.
The queer one. First season. That is the messiest thing I've ever seen in my life. I loved every second.
You have to really carb load before watching that.
No, during and after.
And after all the.
You need to
all carbs.
recover after seeing that.
Yeah, we were saying yesterday that they probably I would imagine they spend their Netflix time separately because they spend so much time together. Yeah. We all have different like Netflix tastes, and I was saying Mira is probably a Bong Joon-ho fan. She probably likes all the dark Korean cinema, like Park Chan-wook, that kind of stuff.
Nice.
And then I also think she probably likes Bob Ross painting. Yeah.
That's so perfect.
What do you think Rumi would watch?
I don't know. It's just
I said
Rom-coms.
rom-com, but I also said like serious thing, like that's like
Maybe some
has a
Celine
good
song.
message to it or something, or
a coming of age or like character.
Eternal
like
Sunshine.
hero movies maybe.
Also, something like The Wrong Paris. You know what I mean? Like you can get behind a rom-com kind of. Yeah.
or like, I don't know, like some sort of movie where like a dog is lost and is trying to come back home. Or something,
yeah,
you know, like something kind of sweet but like heartwarming.
Or baking
Heartwarming,
shows.
Yeah, right?
Something heartwarming. I
It's
feel
like, you did it.
Yeah.
You made it home. Like she's.
I think it's actually quite a scoop that potentially Huntrix each has their own Netflix account separate from one another.
Oh yeah.
Love it.
Let's write that up, press, everybody.
Canon.
And as we get out of here, who felt the Hanmoon getting that much stronger right now? Right? Everybody? Yeah? Mario, you have a great question covering Mexico that I think we should go out on. Are you here? Yes, I'm here. Come on, go ahead and stand up. And this one I think everybody can make a comment on as we go out today.
Thank you for that. Well, do you think that, thank you. Do you think like art is a superpower that can save the world today?
Yes.
Yes.
I agree. I remember I was at the end of recording What It Sounds Like. during the recording sessions, I got to see the actual scene and the full, I got to hear the full song with both their parts lined. It wasn't mixed or anything, but it was beautiful, and I was crying. And at the end of the scene, it was Zoom, and Ian was in New York, I was in LA, and I looked at Ian and Josh, and I was like, guys, we're gonna change the world. And then I went home and I thought about that comment and I beat myself up and I was so pissed. I was like, you're so cringy. Ew, gross. Why would you say that? And I'm so glad I said it. Now looking back, because I feel like it did. I feel like it saved a lot of lives, including mine. So music, Homeland Sealed forever. There's no Such Boys in this house.
I think it's a really great question, and we talked so much making the movie about inner demons, essentially, and acceptance. And we all have inner demons. We all have parts of ourselves that can be really destructive, that can screw up the way that we live and the way we treat other people. And they can win, right? They can prevail, or they cannot. And the movie's so much about the way that we handle those, the way we face them, which if we face them together, we have a chance. And if we don't, then they're going to win. And I think that as much as that seems like a high fantasy concept, it's very much about who we are and how we survive. So.
Sorry, Chris.
I like to recreate the bath scene at the end as much as possible. It's so cute.
Bring it up.
It's kind of crazy because this is the first time that EJ and I have seen each other since the movie came out. And
Yeah.
Tissues, please.
Oh
I think EJ joined before Chris did, right? I think so. No, it was around the same time. But I knew about EJ very early, and she joined very. She one of the OG members of our crew,
One of 5 people.
Yeah,
One
and
of
so
5 people.
she's
Thank you, love.
really the kind of, really the heart and soul of the movie because it's so much of her soul in the songs. So we're just having a moment.
No.
We will be passing
Let it
around
out,
Kleenex
girl.
to everyone today. Go ahead, Audrey.
About art saving the world. Right?
Yeah.
We live in a pretty messed up world, I would say. And I do think I personally am a believer of this delusion that, yes, art can in many ways save the world because I think it connects us. And I think you see with this movie just the pure joy. You meet a stranger who has watched this film and you feel this immediate connection of understanding of just like, what is this weird experience of life living in this simulation? And I think that's like a miracle that really art is like the only portal, like the only doorway to get there. Just seeing as someone who is completely different from you and understanding that they are, like you look into their eyes and they're a human being and we're all kind of in this weird ride together. So I'm grateful for all of the art that has inspired me, particularly in this moment, this film that has inspired me in so many ways as an artist, as a human being, in the sorority that I found with these amazing women, and just like being a part of a team, being in service of something bigger than myself. All these ways that this film, being a part of it and being able to watch people receive it also has made me become more human. So absolutely. Long answer for a very powerful question. So thank you for that question.
And thank you, everybody, for being here today, for watching, and for giving us these great vibes that will carry forth both today and just into the world in general. This is exactly what we all need right now. So please give a very warm thank you to our guests. We have Ray, Ami, Audrey Noon. Come on, yeah, Audrey Nuna, EJ, and our directors, Maggie Kang and Chris Applehans. My name is Gray Drake. For everybody here, go ahead and just keep in your seats for a second. We're going to take a photo. And for everybody out there, thanks again for joining us. And remember, choo choo.
I was a ghost, I was alone.